Welcome to Design Thinking in Education. I'm Crystal Marshall-Krauss. In this presentation, we're going to define what design thinking in education means, provide some examples, and look at the challenges and benefits of using this process. To begin, you might be wondering, what is design thinking? Most importantly, design thinking is a human-centered approach. That means looking at the human experience in order to make things better or solve problems. Design thinking is not one particular definition. It is a collection of mindsets and processes for solving problems. Some common stages include define, ideation, prototype, test, and share. In Phase 1, often called define or discovery, the design team defines the problem, identifies the root cause, and poses the problem as a design question or a challenge. Often, user feedback or the human experience is a part of this process. Phase 2 of the design thinking process is often referred to as ideation or brainstorming. In this phase, the design team comes together and brainstorms ideas and possible solutions to the problem identified in Phase 1. There are often a lot of ideas in this stage. In Phase 3, the design team prototypes their ideas. From the ideation phase, they pick the best possible solutions and they get to work trying them out. In Phase 4, the design team tests their prototypes or experimentations. Here, they find out where the errors are going to occur and what works best for users. Finally, in Phase 5, team members come back together and they share their stories. Sharing stories is a huge part of design thinking, and it's important that we frame these experiences as human stories. Design thinking can be used in education in a number of ways, from classroom instruction and student projects, to curriculum design and professional learning, to the physical spaces in our school buildings. What follows are 3 examples of educators using the design thinking process to find solutions and make improvements. Internet and social media searches regarding design thinking often bring up classroom examples. Sometimes design thinking is used to guide student projects, to help teachers make tool selections, to improve the classroom environment, or to build lessons or units. One example of design thinking in district leadership is a project done by Dallas Independent School District, Austin Independent School District, and the Tulsa Public Schools. These 3 districts work together and use design thinking to reimagine their professional learning around formative assessments. Finally, an example of design thinking in space redesign comes from Howard County's public schools in Maryland. The design team interviewed teachers and students to identify what they needed and then redesigned the classroom to meet their needs. Now we'll look at some of the challenges of using design thinking in education. The first challenge is often that it's too much work. Design thinking is a process and it can take a long time. It's important to consider, is design thinking the right process to solve the current problem you're addressing? Another challenge to using design thinking in education is the users. Here, we're usually referring to teachers and students, both of whom have a lot of demands on their time. Teachers are especially busy and have multiple competing priorities. It's important to interview and include these users in the design process. Another challenge to using design thinking in education is school systems. School systems are not built for rapid testing or prototyping, especially related to contracts and purchasing or big systematic changes. This can really get in the way of design thinking initiatives. With so many challenges, you might be wondering, why even use design thinking? What follows are 3 benefits to using design thinking in education. One benefit is design thinking helps you identify the root causes. In the early stages of discovery and define, the design team is asked to clearly identify what the problem is. This makes putting all the pieces together for a solution much easier. Another benefit is design thinking can lower the cost of certain initiatives. The early testing, rapid testing, and prototyping can make sure that any large-scale purchases or contracts are really meeting the needs. This is an improvement for districts and teachers. Lastly, a benefit of design thinking is that the solutions are often better because you've tried out a couple of options and identified the root cause, more inclusive because you've gotten a lot of user feedback, and they're flexible to change as the user's needs change. To sum up, design thinking is a process. It has many phases and is often completed with a design team. It's flexible, it can be used in different situations, and it can change as it goes forward. And finally, it's human-centered. It's all about the user and their experience. I hope you're ready to try out design thinking in education. If you want to learn more, check out the Zwicklet collection of design thinking resources.